Hi there, I'm Clément Oblot. Today I wanted to have a look a little bit at something that surprised me when it was pointed out to me. We've made a few videos talking about bus size and calculation and how big of a number you can use for your calculation, but we tend to forget about how big those numbers tend to be. We are always, at least people my generation, my age, have seen machines grow from 8-bit, 16, 32, now 64-bit, and we tend to see those numbers as being always improving the quality of the machines, or at least their ability to make calculations. But when you think about numbers that are, for example, 64-bit long, those are starting to be actually very big. If you are interested in those numbers, you can look into big number theory and so on, and for example, the security that ensues with it from Bitcoin, for example. But then we're gonna have a look at how to count seconds. Just you got a device that need to remember the seconds since it got created, for example, since it got produced. How big of a number do you need to do that? We've all been traumatized, certainly, at least not the youngest of us, but the oldest among us, I suppose, have been traumatized by the bug of the year 2000, and so we know to be careful about how to measure time and to put variables that are big enough to make sure that it keeps on living in some fairly long term. Today, if you got a 64-bit variable, how far can you go in the future to count it? And then, in that case, we're gonna take it in reverse. How long is that electronic gonna be reasonably alive for? 10 years at best, certainly. So if we want to design it well, we're gonna give it the ability to count up to 10 times that lifespan that we could hope for. So like 100 years would be a good guess. But if we take the worst case scenario, the worst case scenario is gonna be until it gets destroyed. And that time of the longest time at which it could get destroyed is when the sun is going to actually burn the earth. And that, from what I can see, is planned to be in around 3 billion years. What would it take to count every second since the product got created until the sun burned? If we have a look, 3 billion years, counting to 3 billion in just a number of years is going to be fairly easy for a microcontroller. Each and every year got a certain number of seconds, and that number of seconds is 31,536,000. 1 year, 31 million seconds. So if we want to count every second until the sun hits the earth, we need to be able to count up to 9.4 times 10 to the power of 16. That's a lot of zeros. That's a very big number. Sure, let's see how it looks in hexadecimal. That's how it looks in hexadecimal. I guess it's going to be written here. And if we count how many bytes is in hexadecimal, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 bytes and 1 nibble. Technically, it fits in less than 8 bytes. So less than 64 bits. There you have it. With a 64-bit number, you can count easily, as it turns out, up to the time that the sun is going to hit the earth in 3 billion years. That's how big such a number is, and that's why microcontroller of 128 bits bus size don't seem really necessary regarding calculation only. Maybe regarding memory access and so on in the future, maybe. But for now, regarding pure calculation, those numbers are already really big. That's it. I hope that fun fact about big numbers and 64-bit was interesting to you, and I see you in the next video. Bye. So many numbers.